What's up, everybody on Stadium? Welcome in to our brand new debut show of Rivals Down South. I am T-Bob Hebert. Yes, that T-Bob Hebert. I was once SEC coaches, all honorable mention. Yeah, I know. Try not to be too amazed here. And I am joined by a man who's had a very fascinating 72 hours, a man who I have suffered at the hands of directly, a three-time national champ, a Manning Award winner, a man who is the XFL's all-time leading passer, and it seems to have found his way now back to the NFL, AJ McCarron. AJ, what's up, man? How are we feeling today?
Oh, a little tired. A lot of traveling, a lot of studying. So it's been a crazy couple of days.
So, okay, this is going to be an SEC show, right? So we'll normally talk about college football, SEC and everything, but we have to start with what the last 72 hours have been like. We did a practice show on Friday, and I'm signing off the show because I'm a local radio man. I got to go stand outside of a grocery store like I do 2 hours every Friday, 3 to 5, and hand out like bottle openers and gift cards. You're out here. You're like, yeah, I got to go to Cincy. Next thing I know, it comes across the next morning, signing with the Bengals. You got The Rock tweeting you congratulations. Bengals fans are excited. What has the last 72 hours been like for you? What like take us behind the scenes. What does that actually look like? How does that all work?
Yeah, it's I got the call. It's definitely been wild. I got the call and from my agent saying, "Hey, you're gonna go up for a workout." Knew, I had a good chance of signing if I came up here and threw the ball well. I've been here before. I know the city. I've been a part of a system like this, some West Coast system. So it's really just been wild, kind of talking to the wife, talking to the kids, telling them, listen, especially the kids, Daddy's going to go away for a little bit. And so really, I'm just taking it day by day now, just enjoying this process. It feels awesome to be back in Cincinnati. Spent a great 4 years here and got to play and played well. And so it's awesome to come back and feel the love from the city wherever I go. And it's something that's truly special for sure.
Yeah, look, Bengals fans are ecstatic. The Rock is ecstatic, quoting or tweeting, "Love this. Congratulations, AJ. I'll be rooting for you this NFL season. Thank you for being such a tremendous leader for us in the XFL 2023. Go be great." AJ, I don't know if you're probably like every other boy our age, but I did go through a hardcore wrestling phase growing up. The Rock was the man. He's only gotten cooler as time has gone on. He pips tequila like there's nothing he can't do. What's it feel like to have the glaring spotlight of The Rock shine down upon you?
Yeah, it's definitely like you said. I grew up a Rock fan watching WWE back in the day, so it's definitely something that's a cool moment. I've had him tweet about me a couple of times, and I think my son, more than anybody, my oldest Trip, loves it, and he's always talking about it. So he talked about it last night on FaceTime as well. But listen, I'm gonna finish out this year, and then we'll see. Yeah, I really, if I don't get to the active roster in the NFL and I stay practice squad, I plan on going back to play for St. Louis and finishing a job there that we started last year.
Look, bro, the Battlehawks, people may not know this, the Battlehawks got a good crowd. Like that city loves the Beehawks. Also, it's kind of crazy. I can't imagine what this is like. My old man did something similar, and I think like 85. He was in the USFL, went to the NFL from there. AJ, let's say you go active roster in the NFL. How many games will you have played in a calendar year?
Whew. It could be a lot. Depending on how many games I've get a chance to play in the NFL, but it would definitely be 20 plus.
Oh my God, dude, that's absurd. Okay, but look, like we said, It's an SEC show, but it's going to be kind of fascinating because as we get into this thing, we're going to continue to see AJ's journey kind of firsthand here. But your Crimson Tide this weekend had kind of a back against the wall matchup with Ole Miss. And I got to say, the first half, a lot of mistakes, not looking great. But that second half, dude, I mean, that Alabama defense throttled Ole Miss. Outside looking in, didn't it appear like Lane knew who was actually calling the plays? You watched the game, though. Give us your biggest takeaways, what you saw at your alma mater.
Yeah, I think, like you said, T-Bob, the second half adjustments that they came out with was old school-esque, Coach Saban teams. Like, he's always been really good about second half adjustments, not looking the same way if he's getting beat or if he's struggling in the first half, which I think in the second half of the Texas game, they didn't do very well at all as a team, offense and defense. And the second half of this Ole Miss game, especially on the defensive side, came out and played lights out. Really caused Jackson Dart to struggle in the passing game. He took some big hits as well. They really, it was surprising that, Lane, knowing Coach Saban and knowing when he's in certain situations how much cover zero that Saban plays. And they really, Ole Miss never had an answer for it. I mean, Jackson was standing in there taking hits every time on cover zero, and they really never completed anything. So it was awesome to see the Bama's defense get back to its old self, play physical ball. And then, from an offensive standpoint, Jalen did a good job of making the play, the one touchdown pass, standing in there, taking a big hit. The INT in the red zone is always bad. It's never good, but they definitely played better, and Lane, for whatever reason, struggled.
Well, and as Lane kind of alluded to before the game, saying, you never know how many of these opportunities you're going to get, right? And it's interesting to hear you talk about what you saw Saturday because you were at the zenith of the Saban empire, right? Like when it was at its best. Is it declining? Yes, I think objectively. How much is kind of the question. But we talked about it a bit on Friday, man. Because look, to me, Nick Saban represents the evil emperor, right? He's had his boot on my neck for years now. Like, I'm ready for him to be gone. Nothing would make me happier than if he would go to Jupiter and go enjoy that $20 million home that he just bought. It feels unrealistic that he would do that. If they have a down year, is there anything there? Do you think this could be Nick Saban's last year in Tuscaloosa?
T-Bob, dude, I think it could. And just talking to people that, and you never know what Coach Saban. And listen, Coach Saban, as long as he wants to coach, he'll be able to coach at the University of Alabama. I mean, he's the greatest coach of all time when it comes to the college game, and he's been unmatched for years. I mean, if you think about the Bama dynasty, really for almost close to 2 decades now, it's been it's been on top. So just from hearing talks, like I told you on Friday when we did our little test show, I've heard from numerous people that there's rumblings that this could be his last year or next year could be his last year. And it sucks to say it, but all good things come to an end at some point. And so you just never know. And maybe Lane has heard some of those same things. And, the fact that he doesn't get to play him in 24, he probably played him his last time, is, from his thinking.
That is wild. I can't even allow myself to go there because I want it too badly. I'd be like the Ewoks at the end of Return of the Jedi, just burning a Saban effigy and dancing around it with me and all my boys. But who's going to be here likely is Lane Kiffin. And for whatever reason, like you said, like you would think somebody of the offensive acumen of Kiffin, if you've seen a bunch of cover zero, knowing that it was going to come as well, that he would have been prepared for it. Didn't look like it. Jackson Dart's getting killed back there. And now Lane 0-5 in his career. against Nick Saban, 3-7 against teams that would go on to finish in the top 25. Are you able to identify any kind of element why you think Kevin and Ole Miss can't win the the proverbial big game?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of, really and truly, is just the fact that Lane's not getting the type of athletes that Bama, LSU, Georgia are getting. For whatever reason, I definitely think it's harder to recruit to Ole Miss than it is Alabama, than it is Georgia, really Florida, and maybe Tennessee as well. So, and especially LSU. Like LSU, the top recruits in Louisiana, they're most likely going to get. So, from a talent standpoint, does he have to go outside of the state a lot more than these other schools do to find top tier talent? And 5-star guys. So really, which kind of hurts him, because all these other schools we mentioned in the SEC can really stay in their state a lot of times and just pick the top guys there. So that's a tough deal. And then not being a top school in the SEC for at least a good amount of years and a run at it, I think kind of hurts him a little bit. And so I think I don't know how much longer Lane will be at Ole Miss, to be honest with you. I think Lane, if he knows Saban is trying to get out, I think Lane's going to push hard for that Alabama job.
And that's where it becomes a bit intriguing, right? Because Lane has been such a roller coaster that there's some weekends when that conversation's kind of arisen, and Alabama fans are all for it, right? I mean, just last week, Alabama fans were all for Coach Prime coming down to T-Town. Now after this game, it's like, well, I don't know. I'm late. So, okay, but AJ, but that's the actual fascinating thing about it is even outside of Lane, if Nick Saban were to actually retire, I don't see another prospect out there that fans are going to believe like this is the guy. Because again, there was a run there with Dabo for a minute, where we all know about his Alabama ties. He even had the clause in his contract, or the one school he could have gotten out to go to was Alabama. And so we've seen these guys wax and wane, but Saban has been that constant throughout. Are there any names? I mean, you mentioned Lane. Are there any other names that you think like, okay, this is the right man to fill the biggest shoes that have ever been had?
Yeah, I think really, I think Lane would be the top guy, to be honest with you, because you got to find a guy that's outspoken, that's going to be good at recruiting. And Bama fans are going to remember when he was there, the type of offense, he ran and the numbers that offense put up. I mean, they were beating other teams bad and by a lot of points. And so I think they will kind of, treat that as, hey, you did these numbers when you were here, so you can still get the top talent and come back and do the same thing.
So, look, this is an SEC show here on Rivals Down South. We're going to talk all the things SEC. We'll get to your comments as well. But coming up next, you kind of look around. It's a weird time to start this show because the SEC's maybe been in a bit more hot water than they've ever been in before. Let's explore it a little bit on the other side of this break. More next. Welcome back. Rivals downtown with T-Bob and AJ McCarron, and there is your new AP Top 10 poll. As you can see, the Bulldogs sleepwalking their way to number 1. Alabama's not on this list anymore, and they move up to number 12. LSU falls one spot to 13. Ole Miss falls 5 to 20. But again, here on Rivals, what we care about is you only have one SEC team in the top 10. You look at the SEC against other conferences this year, AJ, it has not been what it is normally. I mean, the ACC whooped up on you the first couple of weeks. And so it does kind of beg the question, is the SEC down or is all of college football up? And I've got a fascinating theory on this. And imagine this. It has to do with the transfer portal and NIL, where I think you have these two sort of siphons of talent that are leading to a democratization of college football. This is a small sample size, so we got to watch this play out. But think about this. With the portal, all of a sudden, you have teams, your elite teams, your Alabamas, your Georgia, your Texas, whatever. You have these elite teams that are no longer able to roster 4- and 5-star guys for 2 years until it's finally their turn to play, and they're these like mature, ready guys. So you have this downward funnel of talent, but then also everybody in the group of 5, if you go ball out in the group of 5 and you do great, well, all of a sudden, maybe your big hometown school, like an LSU, South Carolina, whoever, now they want you, and suddenly you get to go join upward. So you have like a lot of great talent going downward and spreading out, a lot going upward and spreading out. Now you can plug holes. Like if you don't have a quarterback, you can at least get something decent, whereas other years you might just have been screwed. And so for everybody wanting to complain about the portal or what it's done, I mean, to me, here this year, it seems to have made like a much more exciting product.
1000% agree. I think the transfer portal side of it has made college football a more even playing field throughout as a whole. I think it's helped your schools, like a Washington, like a Utah. I think that's why the Pac-12 has so many, top 10 teams in it this year, and why the Pac-12 could, possibly have an argument to be the top conference in all of college football, really and truly. Is the SEC completely down? No, I wouldn't say that. I would just say everybody else is able to get those top players like you're talking about that would normally be stashed on those teams for 2, maybe sometimes 3 years. But now, after 1 year of them not playing as a true freshman, it's like, well, hell, I don't have to stay here anymore. I can just leave. Like if something's not going my way, let me go somewhere else, and I'm promised to play, at a Pac-12 school, at a Big Ten school, and still be a part of a big program that's playing on national TV every weekend, and have a chance to play, every down and still get drafted high.
Yeah, I mean, and you're seeing it throughout the entire country right now. Sam in the YouTube chat, who would win, Oregon versus Bama today? If they played today, who would win?
And Oregon
it's a massive
looked good.
advantage for Bama, massive advantage for Oregon at quarterback. That Bama front 7, though, is going to be a problem for pretty much anything they run up against. What do you think, AJ?
I think a lot of it has to do with where they play at. If they're playing at Bama, I would take Bama. They're playing at Oregon. I don't know the way that Oregon team looked this weekend. I mean, they put it on Colorado, and Colorado I thought was getting a ton of overhype, but I'd still take Bama.
What about this? Because this is a little hypothetical I've been exploring in my brain, right? I was trying to figure out, who do I think the best team in the SEC West is right now? Because that was a kind of one of the questions. Ole Miss, Bama. Well, Alabama was a bad matchup for Ole Miss. Ole Miss matches up with LSU much better, right? Like I think it's like a 3-point spread this week, as it should be. Like there's a chance Ole Miss wins the game. In the same breath, I feel like LSU is actually a much better matchup for Alabama than is Ole Miss, because LSU has a great offensive line. They can hang me with that Bama front 7. Do you think there's potential for a little SEC West rock, paper, scissors triangle where you have Alabama beat Ole Miss beat LSU, and then LSU beat Alabama.
100%. I mean, hell, the Alabama and LSU game every year is a toss-up.
Yeah.
And that game really doesn't matter about where it's played either. It's really about whoever gets the faster start, is what it's come down to, recently, especially. And even thinking back during my time, like, it's either whoever has the faster start or whoever has the ball last is who won those games. So I agree with you 100% on that, where we could be in a, like you said, rock, paper, scissors situation to figure out who wins the SEC West.
The TJ Yeldon screen pass still haunts many LSU fans' dreams. All right, when we get back, let's talk some Florida Gators here on Rivals Down South. See you on the other side. Welcome back to Rivals Down South, our inaugural show. T-Bob Abear, AJ McCarron, and look at this catch right here. The Florida Gators official account tweeting out this Ricky Pearsall catch. Unbelievable. Look, they're Jumpman branded, and here's a Jumpman catch. I don't know what to make of Florida right now, AJ. I thought they sucked entering the year pretty badly. Utah handles them with backups and everything. They looked very poor. Everybody's out on Billy Napier. Then Tennessee comes to town. First time in years, the Swamp's intimidating. Fans are excited. And then you go and you have the catch, but you beat Charlotte 22-7. So, like, where are you at with this Florida Gator team? Are they – because you've seen what they can be in the past. How far away are they from contending for a championship?
Yeah, T-Bob, I still think they're a ways away. The crazy thing to me over the years for Florida is not being able to find a quarterback and a guy that they truly trust, a guy that can be there for a couple years, that they can build an offense around. Like, how in the world it's that hard for them to be able to find a quarterback. I mean, they haven't had a top guy in years. I mean, I know Anthony Richardson got all the hype, but really, I mean, he was 6-6 as a starter at Florida. So it's kind of mind-boggling that they can't find a guy to run.
I guess I hadn't really considered it. I mean, when was the last great one? Because okay, look, you had Kyle Trask there as Mullen kind of changed everything, and Southern's like, oh, I'll just teach a guy how to throw the ball. But even Trask is not really to the level of maybe what we've seen in the past. Look, that's going to do it for us here on Rivals Down South today. T-Bob Abear, AJ McCarron, Cincinnati Bengal. AJ McCarron will be here every day, Monday through Friday. Thank you so much to everyone who hung out with us, and we cannot wait to see you tomorrow on a brand new episode of Rivals Down South.